Good job, King.
Yo. I guess doing this fine Sunday.
Oh, big.
Oh. Big Sunday, huh? Thanks for the BS. What if both real and true? Well, you know, we try to keep it consistent here. Gentlemen of Girth, welcome to the council. Rat pulling simulator later today. I don't know, maybe. I'm going to be perfectly honest, it doesn't seem very popular with the viewers. But, I mean, look at me. You know. Clearly I don't care too much about that. But I might. Yeah, I might do it. I'll put on some sewer slut, drop YouTube because it's going to DMCA me anyway, and then just pull rats for a while. But first, there's lots of content, so don't worry about it. Second half is for falling asleep. First half is for news number 1, news number 2, and news number 3. Obi Watts thanks for the Obi and the Watts for 48. TYVM. Please continue to not watch ads. It's more important to me than you realize. Ads fucking suck. They waste your time. Time is money. Time is life. Some things in life are worth paying for. Like life itself. Anyway, nice rainy day in the foggy forest today. I wondered whether I would be allowed to have a weekend or not. And James Woke Slop came in here with exciting news during the weekend, which is not something they normally do. But hey, you know, give the people what they want. If they're going to put news out on the weekend, then I'm going to read it to you. Talk about it. YouTube big buffering? Oh, I wonder what's wrong. Wonder what the issue is. Well, anyway. Apologies for the buffering. Don't know if it's me or not. Might not be. I don't have anything else running, but who knows? Ultra Caius. Anyway, man, I might just jump into it. We got a lot to get through. You know? Here is fine, so it's not you. Oh, sure enough. Meme ad? Okay, so we'll do a meme ad, and then we'll get into news item number 1, which would be Nighthunt. Day 5. Boy, oh boy, I wonder if day 5 is going to be kind of nice too. So far, we got kind of a streak going. And then after that is Cities of Sigmar. Looking forward to that one. And then almost all of, well, I don't know if it's almost all, but it's a shitload of Final Fantasy MTG. It just got spoiled t'other day. And man, I'm in the market for maybe a 4th commander deck, so I wonder if any one of them will strike my fancy. I looked at some of them, haven't looked at all of them, and maybe I'll talk through them. I love the Persona music. It fits the rain outside so well, doesn't it? But anyway, let's get on getting on. I got a meme ad redeem from Artorias. So eat shit. Watch my fake ad. And then we'll get into Nighthunt, you know?
Right now, you could be savoring the rich, creamy flavor of angel food ice cream. It's the extra cream in angel food that blends all of your favorite flavors so they're always smooth and creamy, never pointy. How about some rich and creamy angel food ice cream right now?
Right now. Poof. All right. Scourge of Ghyran, day 5. Torment by day, haunt by night. Isn't that a song? Anyway, kneel before us, miserable creature, and tremble, for the Nighthunt have come. Friend or traitor, gaze upon our wicked procession, and know the horrors that are to be unleashed upon you. Our special herald, Alexios the Lily-Livered, will reveal your fate. At the head of this Scourge of Ghyran procession are 2 new Nighthunt battle formations. Hungry Nexus is every bit as grim as it sounds, enabling you to move your Nexus of Grief into enemy units, tying them down and denying them access to their commands. Probably stop listening to your general if you were attacked by a soul-sucking, spirit-riddled pile of animated bricks. Well, you know what? You had me until it was animated bricks. Now, honestly, it's no longer scary. That's just a construct. You know, shoot some tank busters at it. Probably fix it. Free rules for this new piece of Nighthaunt faction terrain are available from the download section. These haunted hovels aren't restricted to just this battle formation. Yeah, it was a Rush reference, Arturius. The other formation is for Death Rust Geists, whose mere presence corrodes the armor of their foes, reducing their save. Sounds good already. If your opponent's troops weren't already terrified witless, having their armor disintegrate before their eyes, we'll sort that right out. There's a triptych of ethereal artifacts, all of which are particularly unpleasant sounding. Hopefully not unpleasant reading. The Stave of Suffering takes the pain and misery of recently deceased foes and to empower your wizards. The Amulet of Waking Nightmares sends harrowing visions into an enemy's mind, making them cry out, run around screaming, or otherwise make a target of themselves for spectral shooters. Lastly, the Tombstone of the Penitent bolsters your unit's melee attacks based on the number of terrain pieces your ghosts and minions are currently haunting. Rip John Smith, Loving Geist, +3 attacks, asterisk. At the heart of this paranormal parade lie 2 otherworldly war scrolls. These are big ones, too. The Black Coach and Kurdoss Valencian. Ooh, oh, good. Good choices. Good choices. The Black Coach deserves to be the awesome centerpiece that it looks like. And Kurdoss is a funny guy that seems well liked by the community, but he's never quite good. The Scourge of Ghyran Black Coach is definitely built for smashing into things, running them over and laying claim to their lands. Okay, I was kind of hoping it'd be more of a buff wagon, but that's fine. It doesn't translocate quite as much as the original, but it does have the potential to become a wizard when it needs to. It could make for some very unsettling tactics and combinations. Meanwhile, Kurdoss has become, if this were even possible, even more bitter and twisted since entering Ghyran. Must be tough being a tormented spirit in a realm of unfettered life. He receives bonuses to hit and wound against those who have a lower control characteristic than him, which would be the first time that characteristic matters. And he can rouse his followers to similar acts of pettiness. In truth, they ignore him and do what they want, which ranges from regicide to larceny and betrayal. This makes Kurdoss a particularly useful, not to mention entertaining, addition to a Nighthaunt army. Big download button. Big downloads. All right, here we are. Enhance. Good morning, Mr. Woe. Shooting by briefly to hear the news in your baritone. I don't know if it's quite a baritone, but I appreciate it anyway. All right, what do we got? Battle formations. Hungry Nexus. Once per turn, army, end of enemy turn. Greedy for Souls. Pick a friendly Nexus of Grief to be the target. That would be your terrain feature. For the rest of the turn, the target has a move characteristic of 3. It can immediately move up to 3. And can move into combat, but cannot end the move on a terrain feature or within 3 of that objective. Sounds awful. But I guess I'm not sure. I can't recall what the Nexus of Grief's particular stats were. Taking an entire sub-faction to be able to move your terrain feature 3 every other turn. I mean, maybe you would do that in Ogres because the Pizza Pit is so good, but even still, probably not. I don't know. I can't remember what the Nexus of Grief does. But if it's anything even remotely like... If it's anything even remotely like any other terrain feature ever, then this sub-faction is nigh on worthless. But I guess we'll see. Death Rust. Well, okay. Either Death Rust or D-Thrust. Geist. Once per turn army, enemy hero phase. Blades of Eternal Rust. Pick an enemy unit that is in combat with any friendly Nighthaunt units to be the target. -1 save rolls. Target for the rest of the turn. Enemy hero phase. Okay. This sentence here is one of the more powerful sentences you can ever read in AoS. It's up there with 3d6 charge, a ward that's higher than a 5. Like, you know, it's crazy good. But you do have to already be in combat in the enemy hero phase, which means something had to have happened before, and now there's like a leftover combat, which means combat happened and one side didn't completely die, which I'm not going to say is rare exactly, but I'm used to things just dying. So there is that. Still, it's a powerful sentence in the second half of it. If you got some durable boys, then that might be a useful trick, especially in like a alpha pin style army. Hey, all right. Artifacts of power. Well, this unit is within 12 of any damaged enemy units, or enemy units that have had any models slain. Stopped reading there. I think it's already bad, but let's keep going. Add 1 to casting rolls for friendly Nighthunt units while they're wholly within 12 of this unit. Too many hoops. Too many hoops to jump through. A hero being really close to damaged but not slain enemy units. I don't know. Too many hoops to jump through. +1 to casting rolls is alright, but I don't think so. Tombstone of the Penitent. Add 1 attacks characteristic of this unit's melee weapons for each non-faction trained feature that is being contested by friendly units up to a maximum of 8. Ooh. Maximum of 8. Usually they don't let you go that high. That's fun. Tombstone of the Penitent is funny. So this ability probably... Okay, this ability isn't that good. I can just say that. It's just not that good. However, what this is an artifact that is targeted at the audience of Timmy. This is made for Timmy to get excited about. Maybe even a Timmy light Johnny, right? Ooh, maybe if I build my army in such a way and I control all these terrain features, my guy will have 1,000,000 attacks and that'll be funny, right? That's cool. And so even if it's not, I don't think on the face of it, quite that good, they're targeting psychographic profiles with it, and I like that part of it, at least. A funny thing, give him +8 to attack, maybe. I mean, certainly not. I bet 3 or something, but even that's, like, fun. Anyway. Good work. Amulet of Waking Nightmares. Everything doesn't have to be, like, statistically optimal, right? It doesn't have to be. It just has to be useful enough to get you to take the fun thing. There's a water level, I guess. There's a floor to it. Anyhow. Amulet of Waking Nightmares. Pick a visible enemy hero within 18 of this unit to be the target. Kinda close for a visible enemy hero, but it could happen. Roll die, 3 up. For the rest of the turn, target cannot be affected by guarded hero or obscuring. Damn, if you put that in an army with shooting, then that's pretty exciting. Do you shoot in this army? I know you got the crossbows. Maybe there's a psychic scream or something that technically counts. Hey, alright. I don't think I rate any of these super highly on the face of them. And the sub-factions... Hungry Nexus seems awful, but my mind might change when I read Nexus of Grief. And Blades feels like it does fit a playstyle, and that playstyle is Pin. In which case it's quite powerful. But you'll be playing the right type of army for it. Amulet of Waking Nightmares sounds like an amazing artifact to give to KO or something, but I don't know about Nighthaunt. This thing's too many hoops to jump through for not enough good stuff. And this thing is fun, targeted at players who like fun, and not necessarily the most optimal thing. Which, truly, the game does need more of. So good work there. Overall, I was expecting Nighthunt to get, like, weird stuff, or not even that great stuff, because Nighthunt's so strong already. Just give them something to build around that isn't their best thing, right? That's kind of the modus operandi here. And then we get to two excellent choices for Warscroll rewrites, especially the Black Coach. Can't wait. I'll save it for later. Kurdoss, let's start. With the Craven King, 4 up, 6 up, 8 moves, 7/5. Sepulchral Sceptre. Crit auto wound, 5/3/3/3. Kind of a swinger. Inescapable Mockery. Add 1 to hit rolls and wound rolls for this unit's combat attacks that target an enemy unit that has a lower control characteristic than this unit. Nice little callback to a rule that they already have, getting you to care about control score a little bit. Means virtually, I guess, against non-heroes, Kurdoss kind of reaps and sows on that 2s and 2s, 2/3 gaming. Kind of a swinger. Nexus shuts off enemy commands within 3, heals nearby ghosts, and can teleport to within 3 of a Nighthaunt unit. Oh, the Nexus can teleport. Okay, well then the subfaction's even more worthless than I thought. No big deal. It wasn't a linchpin for this index sheet anyway. A Traitor's Legacy. Your duplicity. If this unit is in combat, pick a visible friendly Nighthaunt, holy 12. Pick one of the following to apply for the rest of the turn. You just get to pick? You don't roll randomly and get screwed by a chance? You get to choose the things you use to give you some skill expression as a player who's playing a game and not just watching a slot machine? You'll love to see it. I already like this ability. I haven't even read all 3 of the things yet. Great work. I mean, he's got to get something to make up for the fact that he's not a wizard, right? So here we are. Target's melee weapons have anti-hero rend. Cool. Add 5 to control score. Oof. Oh, you got the rare one.
Oh, you are so big.
That's a 1 in 10.
So absolutely huge.
So absolutely. Yo, he rolled and he got the rare one. Thanks to the bits. Cheer the NASA cheer for overall great choice mode of choosing. Oh, he tried to call the NASA cheer, didn't get it. You got the oh Lord. You are so very big. Goodness me, you started early. Yeah, it's true. Usually I'm walking and chilling for an hour, but I'm just like, we got 2 news days to get through. Let's jump in. You can add the control score to yourself, I think, and that buffs your other abilities to work with. Yes. Yeah. You can give yourself a 10 so that you get +1 hit and wound rolls. Right? That's like the funny combo part of it. It makes this part potentially ever, like, you might use this and you never would otherwise except for this cool ability. Something for Johnny. And then Seduction and Betrayal. Enemy units cannot use commands while they are in combat with the target. That's probably just better. That's better than +1 to hit and +1 wound, I think. Yeah. Yeah, this ability is actually better than +1 to hit and +1 wound. Because you can use a CA for +1 to hit, and then enemies don't get +1 armor from a all-out D. So, hey, all right. Good work. Control score, you tried. I guess this undoes all-out D too. Look, you got a bunch of options here. It's characteristic, not score. Oh, he's right. Characteristic. Score. I don't even have to check the tapes. He's right. I got so excited that there was almost a combo, I didn't even think it through. Welp, it's trash. Hey, no big deal. Regicide Kingslang is great. Sedition Betrayal is great. Inescapable Mockery is kind of funny for fighting. But what does he do at the end of the day? He's not a wizard. Really, he's a flying, cannot use commands in the combat phase, right? And yeah, he swings a big hammer around, but at the end of the day, are you going to play him? Probably not. You know, they gave him cool things that are like good, but will that really get him into your army? I think no. But I'd love to be wrong. What about the Black Coach? 12, 4, 10, 6. Charge +1 dam, crit auto wound. So 5, 3, 3, 2, 3. Auto wound on the charge. Oh, auto wound always 3 damage on the charge. And then Iron Shod Wheels, crit auto wound companion. Right, 4s and 3s, 2, 2, 8 of them. It's like sort of fighty. Spectral Attendants. Once per turn, army any hero phase. So each hero phase. Pick one of the following. Oh, again, we get to choose. Love it. Noble Blade. This unit's melee weapons, including companion, have crit mortal. That's 13 attacks, crit mortal. You can expect 1 or 2 of them, right? So 1 in 6, you get 13 attacks. Figure average 2 or something. That's something. And it's not even 2, it's 2 procs, right? Of 2 or 3 damage. It's not nothing. Pick a friendly Nighthunt unit, hold within 12 of this unit. Each time that unit uses rally, you get 3 additional rally points. Nice. We like rallying. And the unit has Wizard 1 if you give a shit. So this is like the default situation. You're just, okay, it's a wizard. It's a wizard. It's a wizard. Oh, this is the turn I'm going to charge. All right, here we go. We're crit mortal, right? That's kind of the play pattern for the coach. And it flies too. Once per turn army. So both of these happen any hero phase. Damn, dude. Pick an objective you do not control to be the target. For the rest of the turn, while enemy units are contesting the target objective, they cannot score critical hits while this unit is also contesting it. They're simply hits instead. Great. Yeah. It's not gonna come up terribly often, but it's a solid bonus. And then Spectral Carriage. Only your charge phase, though. So not if you countercharge. For the rest of the phase, add 1 a number of dice rolled when making charge rolls for this unit to a max 3. Oh. You just 3d6 charge with this shit, huh? So you simply 3d6 charge with this guy as long as it's your turn. Dude, actually Black Coach stonks. This shit is great. For the first several turns of the game, or maybe its default position, it's just chilling as a wizard. Does a funny contest thing once in a blue moon. 3d6 charges. The turn you're going to charge with it, it has crit mortal on 13 attacks that are min damage 2. Half of them are damage 3. Just like this is a little Stonehorn in the Nighthaunt army. You guys get yourself a little Stonehorn in the Nighthaunt army if you feel like it. Maybe 2 of them or something. I don't know. 10 flying. 10 flying is like 15 non-flying half the time. 4 up save kind of sucks, but at least it's got a 6 ward, you know. Anyway, looking good. Kurdoss did get a lot of cool things, but I really don't see why I would... Man, you gotta climb a tall mountain to earn your spot in an army as a hero. And he does like some funny things, but it's like you can stop commands when he's exactly in combat. But if he's not in combat, he does like what? Nothing. I don't know. You can spread some anti-hero rend, I guess, but yeah, no, Kurdoss, nah. Black Coach, kind of nice with it. Doesn't it have ethereal because it's Nighthaunt? Yes. Yeah, I'm just saying the number. Don't read too much into it. Though we have a Stonehorn at the grave unit, yeah. And all this shit just works. It simply works. Overall, the Nighthunt one is pretty disappointing. But the reason it's pretty disappointing is because Nighthunt is awesome right now, and they were trying as hard as they could not to buff Nighthunt with this update. Blades of Eternal Rust is kind of interesting if you're trying to pin. Greedy for Souls seems trash. Meh. Funny and good for Timmy's. Don't really see him having a place in the army. And Black Coach is a Stonehorn. Cool. It's still not even bad. The Nighthaunt update. It's still not even bad. What's the cost on Black Coach? What are the points? 280. Okay. That's fine. Would you say the update is okay? Yeah, I would say the update is okay. Black Coach is funny. Tombstone is funny. Blades offers an interesting counterculture kind of way to build. Everything else, big shrugs. But yeah, 3d6 charge douchebag. And don't forget, this is a War Machine. I believe War Machines get the good charge bonus from the Nighthaunt battle traits. Don't forget. It's even more kind of exciting. Although I guess Crit Mortal doesn't interact with that very pleasantly. But it's still a bonus anyway if you're not critting, right? Throw that... Throw this forklift in the reverse once or twice. Charge back in. Dragster. Anyway, good shit. D-, but graded on a curve. C-. Had 1.5 cool things. Next up, Cities of Sigmar. Scourge of Ghyran, expedite your planning permission across the mortal realms. Hail, fellow marshal, and well met. Well, greeting, stranger. As you've no doubt heard, the most valiant armies of the cities of Sigmar are to receive a mighty boon on this good day. Adam Van Denst, no relation, has your marching orders. The loads guy, let's go. If you like big guns, oh, of course I know him. It's me. And who doesn't? Then the new veteran Cannoneers battle formation will be right up your barrel. It enables you to reroll a hit, wound, or damage roll up to 3 Ironwalled Great Cannons. The second formation, Fearless Exemplars, is a combined arms approach to battle, which is useful if you plan to be Shootan before Charjan. The heroic traits are collected under the title Castellite Veterans. Draw Steel, gives your units extra attacks, while Astute Tactician is perfect for getting your units where you need them quicker. The third trait, Cosmopolitan Leader, is particularly handy if you're commanding a mixed force of humans, elves, and dwarven. Please, More. More. Basically, the first two get stuck in while the elves grab the objectives. I mean, that makes perfect sense. It's teamwork. Consider combining these heroic traits with Afakar's orders for some truly unexpected combos. The two war scrolls under scrutiny today are Pontifex Zenestra. Was she good already? I can't remember. And Free Guild Cavaliers. Oh, yes. Yes. They look so good, but they were so bad. Mr. Four's on everything. Good choice to rewrite on that one. Wasn't Pontifex good already? That's a bit of a potentially wasted opportunity to remake something else that should be better, right? Pontifex Zenestra has always been a powerful figure of authority, but now she's even more... Oh, we just buffed her, okay. First, she can wound and possibly kill outright any wizzy or priester who dares to get too close or banish a manifestation. The word of the god king can be pretty potent. On top of that, she can inspire your warriors to such a degree that they fight even as they're dying. Oh, just like in the anime. They wouldn't die even if they were killed. Or she can simply spirit them away to somewhere safer. Oh, spirited away, speaking of anime. Not so brave, but alive. Meanwhile, Free Guild Cavaliers have also had a Ghyranik G-up. I almost read that wrong. The red work is every bit as violent as it sounds. Put simply, they just love hitting stuff. They're already in combat. They now have an ability that lets them and a nearby Cavalier Marshal, including one on a Griffin, count as charging, making them doubly dangerous. Oh Lord, I've seen what you've given to other armies. Free 3d6 charge for no reason. Retreat and charge. Count as charging. I just asked that for my army as well. Alright, view downloads. And then we got two of them. Alright, this was the Nighthunt. We can get rid of that. Enhance. Faction rule, enhance. Alright, there we go. Cities of Sigmar. Veteran Cannoneers. Once per turn army, your shooting phase. Pick up to 3 friendly Ironweld Great Cannon units to be the targets. Yes, I do want to play with 3 Great Cannons. I actually do. For the rest of the turn, each time the target uses a Shuit ability, you can reroll 1 hit or 1 wound or 1 random characteristic roll for the damage characteristic. I'll tell you what. What if the damage characteristic wasn't random and we just reach across the aisle? But alright. Cool. Each time they shoot, you get to reroll something that doesn't go your way during that shooting profile. And you pick all 3. And I want to say that each of them gets this, so you can reroll 3 things, 1 per target. Because it does say each time the target, and there's 3 targets. That could undo some of the randomness. I can't remember how good, mediocre, or weak the Great Cannon is exactly. They love hitting stuff so much they lost an attack. Oh no. Anyway, I don't know how good this is because I don't know what a cannon is, but we're about to see, right? Oh no, we're not. Yeah, this is other stuff. This is so important to me that I'm about to check the tapes. We're back. I'm still scrolling, actually. I'm still scrolling to the cannons. Cannons where? Someday the way this is ordered will make any sense to me. We're still in hero land because the heroes are first. That part does make sense. There we go. So unchanged is the Ironweld Great Cannon. What is it? Yeah, I had to turn the music off because for some reason the copyright-free fake jingle that I used for that video, someone either bought the copyright in the interim or pretended to and just started copy striking stuff. Well, okay, not copy striking, but like revenue shutting off. So I had to mute it, sadly. Damn, copyright's really good and really fucking stupid at the same time. Each time this user shoot, if it's in a fortified position, you can pick Cannonball or Grape Shot. If it is not, then you always use Grape Shot, okay? And there's a way to give it fortified sometimes for whatever. Cannonball is 24, 2 attacks, 4s and 2s, Ren 2, D3 plus 2. Okay, that's not so bad. Yeah. So the damage is 3, 4, or 5, right? So that's not the worst. That's not like a D6 or something. So the random characteristic is fine. Chances are you're re-rolling the hit roll on these. With ability, right? And it has 2 shots with the long boy. So you pick 3 great cannons, and all 3 of them are shooting long boy shots at 24. And for each of them, you can reroll 1 something. And that something is probably going to be the 4-up to hit. So it maybe turns a miss into a hit 3 times. Hey, all right. It almost certainly turns a failed wound into a successful wound, because all you have to do is dodge a 1. And it'll turn damage if you just got lucky on everything else and you're greedy, right? So, okay. It's like a... That's something. Yeah, if you're Greywater Fastness, you know, Ironweld Cannon Enjoyer, this probably helps build out some stuff. Next, Fearless Exemplars. Once per turn, army your hero phase. Frontline Lita. Pick a friendly Cities of Sigmar human infantry. Then you can pick up to 1 non-human infantry and up to 1 human war machine that are all wholly within 12 of that hero. So you just deploy them in a giant brick and then you move them around. Well, the targets are wholly within 12 of the hero. Add 1 to rend of the infantry and the target war machine for until your next. Okay. So you have a human infantry hero leading a bunch of double hammered dwarves and a fucking cannon. And they just get rend 1. So rend 2. Potentially rend 3, depending on what you're doing. Great. I like it. It's fine that this is called out, and this is called out, and this is called out. That's actually kind of nice. Because then, you do have to work them together then, right? Human infantry? Well, human infantry hero, but then a non-human infantry, right? So non-human infantry are better than human infantry, at least for pure damage, right? Because the dwarves are pretty good. No, they're working together. This is good. Non-heto. No, a non-hero. Oh, hold on. Oh, non-hero human. I misread it. I was reading what I wanted to read. Damn, this is the last time I wake up and start streaming right away. Reading is hard for ogre players. Yeah, I know. Okay, so it has to be human, and then it has to be human, and it has to be human. So it is sad. Okay, boo. Like, the ability's good, but I'm sad again. It's just... I just don't see race, and so I just thought that you could mix them. It's my fault. All right. Then it's quite too bad. Heroic traits. Draw Steel. If this unit charged this turn, pick a friendly Cities of Sigmar human. Unit that charged this turn and is wholly within 12. So you have to charge, and your squad has to charge. You both have to succeed. You can't get in each other's way. And you each have to be wholly within 12 of each other once you're already in combat. Which is a little tricky. Add 1 to attacks of the target's melee weapons. And the target is human. Okay. It's a lot of bonus attacks. Nice. Yeah, if you can line this slightly awkward thing up on the table, that's potentially a bunch of bonus attacks for whatever human unit is following that hero around for charging. Note that it doesn't have to be like an infantry or anything. It could be cav. Cities of Segregation Bar. Astute Tactician. Pick a friendly Cities of Sigmar unit wholly within 12. For this return, add 1 to charge rolls for the target and 2 to run rolls. Okay. How much run and charge is there in this army, I guess, is the next question I should ask. Cosmopolitan Leader. Pick a friendly Cities of Sigmar infantry or cav unit wholly within 12. If this unit is human, pick up to 3 eligible units to be the targets. Damn, all this racism. What is this? Roll a die on a 3-up. Ew, a 3-up. Okay. If the target is human, add 1 to wound rolls. If it's Dwarden, add 1 to charge rolls. If it's elf, add 3 to control score. This is elven slander. This is actually the kind of thing that I would like to see all over the place in Cities of Sigmar, honestly, is pick what humans are the best at, and they do that in the army. And then pick what dwarves are the best at, and they do that in the army. And pick what elves are the best at, and have them do that. And then it's all about commanders or the units bringing what they're the best at to the melting pot of why they're the best at everything city now, right? So stuff like this is the kind of stuff that I would like to see. Obviously, I don't want to see control score, right? But these are like the kind of mixing rules that I would like to see more often. 3-up kind of sucks. You get to pick 3 if you're a human, but all right. You want fully mixed units, like there's a dwarf in a helmet next to an elf with the same helmet and stuff like that, like the irregulars. It would be aesthetically very fun to craft units for, if the baseline models weren't so good already. Yeah, only humans can give orders. Dwarves are too short, so their voice doesn't carry as far. And elves are too soft-spoken, and so same reason. You know, maybe it is that the humans are doing the best thing. Humans are the best at being in charge. Got 'em. If they have the same helmet, doesn't that make them regulars? I guess I meant the same color, but yeah, sure. Yeah, I suppose it does make them regulars. Humans are the best at being charged. That's, I don't know, man. Dwarves have a move of 4, but then again, anybody who's not cavalry this edition is pretty good at being charged. Heroic traits. We did those already. Down to the 2 Warscrolls. Well, let's summarize up here. Cannon crews, fun. Not as impactful as you might think, but fun, and if somebody wants to play a bunch of cannons, you have my blessing. Sounds great. Frontline leader, a little too racist. Cosmopolitan leader, correct amount of racism. Racism parenthetical good, because it's showing the things that each of the races are great at. I would choose some different things they're great at. plus a roll and some other goofy stuff, but it's dipping a toe in the right direction, kinda. This thing's a great buff that might be hard to set up. This is minor, but if you get run and charge, then it's great, obviously. And now we got Pontifex Sinistra. And then those Cavaliers that I can't wait to see what they do with, because they look so cool, and I was sad that they were bad. Nine, 5, 5, 4 up. 4 up. Oof. Pontifex indeed. Technically gets to roll dice during the combat phase, but I might just skip it to save time. Word of the God King. Pick an enemy wizard, priest, or manifestation with 18 to be the target. Probably won't be one, if I'm honest. Sometimes there will be. Roll a die, 3 up. If it's a manifestation, it's banished. Otherwise, inflict an amount of mortal damage equal to the roll. Almost a... So 4, 5, or 6. Well, 3, 4, 5, 6, or nothing, I guess. It's a lot of mortal damage to a wizard or priest. Getting within 18 of a wizard priest is normally like a late game thing. But if you're playing this, you might consider having it be an early game thing if you can help it. Potentially big damn, you know? And how often can I use this? Both hero phases. Yo, Pontifex could be a little pizza pit if there's wizards or priests floating around. Do this twice a battle round? Little pizza pit? Anyway, intriguing. And then Sigmar's Will. Prey on a 4. Make a chanting roll d6 if it's unmodified 1. You can re-roll the dice. She's just that good. Pick one of the following effects to apply until the start of your next turn. Pick up to 2 if you did a 10 up. Hallowed Ground. Enemy units using the normal move ability cannot end that move within 5 of a friendly Cities of Sigmar human unit. Why are you so racist? Okay, that is wholly within 12 of this unit. Which means the minimum charge distance is now 5 instead of 3, which causes what would have been basically auto charges. It gives you the possibility of failing them, I suppose. And it also like zones off potential choke points or sections of the table so that they have to waste untold amounts of movement getting past it sometimes. Interesting. Potentially really good board control, actually. Like wholly within 12 if you're right on that edge. Plus 5. 17 radius. What's the diameter, right? 34. It's a big zone. So that's a giant no man's land that you've created. Intriguing rule. Fervent Prayers. Each time friendly Cities of Sigmar human model, racist again, that is wholly within 12 of this unit is slain by a combat attack, and that model was in combat with the attacking unit. Roll a die on a 6, 1 mortal. Cool. All right. So you explode into holy light sometimes. And then Salvation. Up to 3 friendly Cities of Sigmar human units. Remove them from the battlefield, set them up again, wholly 12 of this unit, and not in combat. Can't charge. Pick up to 3 friendly Cities of Sigmar human units anywhere on the table. Doesn't matter if they're in combat or not. Doesn't matter if they're in line of sight or not. 40 inches away. Save them and just place them next to this lady. Well, not even next to. Wholly within 12. As long as they're not in combat. Big tactics. What a tactical player Pontifex is. Also, double priesties. Priest 2. So you got Priest 2, 4 up ward. Satellite Laser Pizza Pit on Manifestations, Wizards, and Priests with an 18. With a lot of really interesting tactical shit. Tactically win the game in various ways. Really interesting model. Can't fight, but you don't give a fuck. Slow as hell, for sure. What's Pontifex's cost? What's she up to? 250. Yeah, I would figure so, because her abilities are actually quite good. Oh yeah, and no whoopsie doodles either. Because you get to reroll unmodified ones. For, well, this particular prayer. I like her. Didn't she used to be good? I thought she used to be, like, sick as well. The Pontifex. Maybe she just looked good on paper, but actually didn't pan out on... Or she looked good on paper, but didn't pan out on the battlefield, maybe. So you lose your Unbind. You lose some attacks that you didn't give a fuck about at all before. You have a 4-up ward still a priest 2. And then your prayer is a 5. Pick one of the following effects. You don't get to reroll ones though. Add 2 to move characteristic of humans. That's really good. Friendly cities, humans have a ward of 5-up while they're only within 12. That's really good. Roll D3 for each enemy, wizard or priest on the whole battlefield. 2-up mortal. Okay, that's really good too. Interesting. Okay. I think you actually have 2 good choices for Pontifex here. You could choose the old Pontifex, which is meat and potatoes. Just the simplest but strong. 2 move is always good. 5-up ward is always good. Blast people, probably never use this, but sometimes, I don't know, maybe you'll use this, whatever. A little harder to pray for, right? And you get an Unbind as well. Like, so old Pontifex is just, hey, what's the most generically good things you can ever do? She does it. But prays on a 5. New Pontifex is, what's the most tactical genius bullshit you can pull off? And it's easier to do by a lot. A legitimate choice, probably, depending on what you're trying to do. I think it's weird that they chose a unit that was already good, but maybe people weren't playing it, so what the fuck do I know? Checkpoints. 250 for the new one. And this is the index, so it has probably old points. Does anybody who plays this army know the current points of Pontifex Zenestra, old version? That will inform the choice as well. 170. Way cheaper. Okay. Damn. That makes the Tactical Genius one look a lot worse. But that could be a clue into what the new points for this might be. I don't know. Hey, all right. Interesting. That's something to think about as a Cities player. Got an extra 50 points floating around. Since I don't play the army, I don't know exactly what they're looking for to solve problems that only you would know if you built the army and played it a few times. But I think the 2 Warscrolls are kind of interesting to compare and contrast. Free Guild Cavaliers. Let's get to it. 3 health, 3 save, 10 move. Good wheel. That's a good wheel. Cavalier weapon, charge, 1 dam. So 2 attacks, 3s and 4s, 1, 2. And then 2 attacks, 5, 3, 0, 1. And this is a unit of 5, right? The Cavaliers. So 10 attacks, all-out attack, or some other thing, right? 2s and 4s. Interesting. That's a rough one. Only rend 1, 2 dam. Kind of light on damage. But a 3-up save is sick. The red work. If this unit is in combat and has not charged. What do you mean? I want to do that. I always want to do that. I want to be charging. Then again, maybe you're not exactly going to blow somebody up, right? It's not exactly Varangard that expects there to be naught but ash in front of them whenever they enter combat off of a charge. Only 2 attacks per model. It's kind of rough. If this unit is in combat and has not charged, pick this unit and up to 1 friendly Free Guild Cavalier Marshal or Marshal on Griffin within this unit's combat range, so they have to be absolutely attached at the hip. Roll a die, add 1 to the roll if there are fewer models in this unit than the total number of enemy models in units that are in... Look at all these fucking paragraphs on a Tuesday. So it has to be in combat. It couldn't have charged. It has to be right next to a Free Guild Cavalier Marshal, and by right next to, I mean within the combat range of, and then you roll a die, and then you add 1 to the roll if there were fewer models in this unit than the total number of enemy models in units that are in combat with this unit. Then, on a 4-up, you count as having charged. The juice is not worth the squeeze. For all of this setup, I was ready to hear the sentence, "You win the game," or something. Yeah. Ooh. They got one of the older rules writers maybe on this one. I'm not sure. That's a whole lot of words. Too bad I ain't reading them. Yeah, Free Guild Cavaliers. Kind of bad, but what were the old ones? How bad were the old ones? Was it like forces you to play a Free Guild Cavalier Marshal who isn't good? Like, I don't want to play him anyway, right? Free Guild Fusiliers, Battle Mage. So old version is 10-3-3-1. 3 attacks, 4s and 4s, 1/1, charge 1 damage. Oh, so you get 5 fewer attacks per squad, but they all hit on 3s instead of 4s. Honestly, like, kind of call it a wash, really. And then, if this unit charged, pick an enemy within 1, roll die for each model in this unit that is in combat. For each 4, inflict a mortal. Yeah, man, I think the old ones are, like, arguably better, but not great. And the new one is a 7,000 word essay that leads to +1 damage. Once you're already in combat, the turn afterwards, maybe. Disappointing. Cities of Sigmar, oh man, are we running out of steam with these cool, fun, and interesting updates? Cities of Sigmar, we got Cannon Cruise, which is pretty decent. Racist rule that gives +1 to Rend for stuff. Rend is great. You love to see Rend. Especially on ranged weapons as well. Possibly Ironwold Great Cannon's better here because +1 Rend is probably functionally equivalent to rerolling 1 roll within the sequence. Strong but a little annoying ability to set up. Cool flavor, but not so wonderful. Run and charge is good here. Pontifex, flexing but maybe expensive. And then Cavaliers are disappointing in a different and more annoying way. Okay. Man, COS is maybe the first miss. Like the others, I could see what they were doing and I appreciated it. But this one might be the first just about full miss. Yeah. This one gets an F, but grading on a curve, it might still get an F, D-. Yeah. It gets a D- on the curve, and an F if we're not grading on the curve. But it's not a complete miss. You will use some of these abilities, I bet. A complete miss is like an F, okay? So it's not a complete miss. This Vision of Cavaliers is much more suited to their grinder function. I think they're supposed to be grinders, you know? It just might not be the addition for grinders. Or maybe they don't have the stats for it or something. I don't know. But I think there's room in the game for cavalry that is supposed to grind. Or have the grinding option. Even if everything else feels like it's pushing against that. I think there's space for that. And I think that's a cool concept or a cool idea. Remember back in the old days where you equipped your Varangard with the swords and forewent the bonus charge damage because you wanted to just lock stuff in combat and crit mortal meat and potatoes people down until they were just dead. Kind of like that. Anyway, meh. A big meh. Somebody asked, are we getting just 5 days of these updates or one article per faction? We're getting one article per faction. And so far there have been 6 articles, 6 days, and 6 factions. Metal. Monday, tomorrow, will be the 7th one. And it will be... Tomorrow you'll need to bring your wading boots as we're hitting the swamps, and that sounds like Cruel Boys to me. Going all out with how commands work in the new generals. Oh, so actually even more updates for the General's Handbook itself and not just a purely factionial one. The swamps. I'm very interested to see Cruel Boys because I liked the direction their index was going. And then they undid that with the Battle Tome. And so perhaps the General's Handbook just kind of like, you know, puts some masking tape over that and writes in a Sharpie the index again. You know, like just right on top of it. We are reverting to patch 1.0.1b. Yeah, we'll see what we get with that one. All right, Age of Sigmar, folks. Tune in Monday for more Age of Sigmar news. But there's more content ahead. Massive Final Fantasy MTG spoilerinos. I've seen about half of them. Going to talk through them. If you don't play Magic, apologies. But it's kind of a big deal. Anyway, I'll hit you with some shit, and then we shall return.
Mr. Owl, how many licks does it take to get to the
Cream.
Let's find out.
Let your fingers do the walking.
I'm Mr. Buckets. Toss your balls on my top. I'm Mr. Buckets.
What do you get when you press on a can of Noxema?
Great balls of comfort.
You get
I can't believe I ate that whole thing.
Oh, well, I heard that before.
Unjustifiably in a position that I'd rather not be in.
I'm calling paramedics and your family, Mr. Miller.
You can make this creamy cheese sauce in seconds with American cheese and
Cream.
mushroom Lipton cup of soup. And you thought cup of soup just made soup.
Oh, yeah. Cream in the World Wrestling Federation.
Wait a minute,
and there is
more real meat. You'll be glad we made him taste better. And so will he.
And so will he. Poof, we're back. All right, big FF news. Look at all of them. Some of these we've seen before. Shall I presume that everybody who gives a shit has seen the ones that we have seen before? I feel like that's probably fair, right? Show me Tifa, though. All right, we will cut to the important parts here. Tifa Lockhart. Not nerfed. Perfection. Also, I really like the art, actually. Nice, lining up a big kick, some punches and stuff. 1/2 for 2. Trample landfall whenever land you control enters, double her power until end of turn. Funny. The price is right. 2 splashable is really nice. You can get her power to be absolute kill you mode. She has trample built in. Make a bunch of landfalls. It's funny. Like, there's a Hydra that doubles the counters on it forever whenever you make a landfall, but it costs like 4. So it's just which one to choose, right? There are other effects that do stuff like this. I don't know how common she'll be, but it's just a very elegant card, right? 1/2 for 2. It already has trample. It lets you build around it. Can get impossibly huge. Good art. The alternative art looks great too. It's her classic look. Yeah, I kind of wish she was as a companion or something like that, but they seem to feel like companion was a mistake, because to me, companion was too fun because it lets you have 2 commanders, and that's not okay. So I guess it's sort of a pity that she's mono green, but I don't even think so. You just would never choose her to be a commander ever. Like, she goes in a deck. She's not a commander, right? Anyway, we've seen all these up here. We haven't seen Terra. 4/2 for 3. When she enters mill 5, put an enchantment card milled that way into your hand. Interesting. Transfer 6 tap, exile her, then transform her into the Esper Terra. Create a tokenless copy of target non-legendary enchantment you control. It gains haste. If it's a saga, put 3 lore counters on it. Huge. Sack it at the beginning of your end step. And then the 4th one is add door to nothingness mana, 2 of every color, and then just exile it. Flying 6/6 in the meantime, and she flips back. Saga decks, 5-color Saga is eating good tonight. Terra's looking really good for that. Damn, the triple this ability is so strong in Saga decks. The lightning bolt and halo, etc. At the top, what are those other icons on the banner? Oh, you mean on the website itself? Oh, I don't know. Creature, instant sorcery, something, artifact, land, probably enchantment. And then this thing, probably legendary or creature, I think, because it kind of looks like the set symbol for legends. I just guessed on all that stuff. And this thing is probably multicolor, right? For Cavaliers, this is the Sloth Bear. If they get the 4/3 off that ability with a Cav Marshal, they both get strikes first in your opponent's fight phase. So if you were driving and couldn't type, hey, don't type when you're driving. It's okay. Good on you for not doing it. Statistically speaking, it's deadly. Over a long enough time frame, enough people. But yeah, the Marshal does give fights first. Seeing we saw him. Ooh, Clued Midgar Mercenary, this guy. This man's going straight in Arden Crom, my equipment deck, for sure. He is a Stoneforge Mystic. If you are playing Commander and you have a Stoneforge Mystic in your equipment deck, and damn, if only you had 2 Stoneforge Mystic, well, he's your second one. 2/1, unfortunately it's double white instead of 1 white, 1 colorless. It does hurt because usually you're in a 3-color deck, right? For Clued. When he enters, search your library for a sort of Feast and Famine and then put it in your hand. Maybe a Skull Clamp, who knows? You could search for a lot of stuff. As long as he's equipped, if an ability that he's equipped with triggers, it triggers an additional time. Very strong, actually. Remember, Stoneforge Mystic has the tap, just put something out ability, which gets around counter spells and often makes them cheaper, which is better than Cloud's second paragraph, but in certain decks, you might be pretty high on equipment, but kind of low on creatures, and having them equipped with something that makes it double trigger is actually sick. Cloud, 10 out of 10, going straight into my deck. and that double white will sometimes fuck me up on turn 2, but worth it. You'll love to see it. And the alternative art is much better. Clued. Midgard Mercenary. Y'shtola. Rule. The Ruler. Yeah, you can clamp him for 4 cards. Nice. She's a 3/5 for 6, which means you won't be playing her for any reason, really. But I could see like a bracket 2 mono blue flicker deck play her or something instead of like Thassa Commander, maybe. Beginning of your end step, you exile a creature and return it. So she flickers at the beginning of your end step. And then if it's the first end step, you get an additional end step. So by default, she flickers one thing 2 times. Bonus, right? Pretty cool. You might put her into a flicker deck that isn't like too terribly high bracket, but you're just trying to make funny stuff. So I like her. Not everything has to be really powerful. Some stuff can just be fun. So I rate her. And then we have the 5th version of Sephiroth, and all of them are awful that I saw. This is the closest one to good, the 3 mana Sephiroth, who you put him inside of your Aristocrats deck if you like Final Fantasy. Maybe he's better than the worst Aristocrats creature you're currently running, maybe. Probably still not, but you get to have fun because he flips into final boss version of Sephiroth that draws you 1,000,000 cards, potentially. So yeah, if you're playing Aristocrats, just look at your worst Aristocrat creature, and if Sephiroth is better or more fun or cooler than it, put it in. And that's the best I can say about that. Mr. Woe, who's the streamer you clip for your sound reacts? There's actually a few of them. Many of them are different. But if you are talking about so fucking big, I'm sorry, my dude, but you're huge, and then she laughs, that is Scoo-chan. Space Fox VTuber girl who does like cooking streams or whatever. And I happened to be watching, even though I don't regularly watch her really, but I happened to be watching her and she said that, and it was so fucking funny to me. I just collect people who say big and funny ways, and we put them in the clips. So that was that one. Yeah, hit your shots, kid. Are you supposed to play a sleeved flip card? You unsleeve it and flip it. In a tournament, you play what is known as a checklist card, which has a magic back and then a checklist front. And then from your sideboard, you pull out a, like, clear on both sides mini-sleeved version of the flip card, and you place it on top of the checklist card so that you can easily flip it. And that's how you do it in tournaments. Or at least that's how I used to do it when I was playing, you know, Insectile Aberration or something like that. And then we got Clive from Final Fantasy VI. He costs, or from 16 rather, that's what I meant. He costs 6 and he's mono red, so he's bad. When he enters, you can discard your hand and draw cards equal to your devotion to red, which is minimum probably 2. Could be a lot more. Nice. Well, I don't know, not nice. I don't like discarding my hand. I would rather just draw the cards. Maybe this is why I don't like red in Commander. And then he flips into a 9/9, which is kind of huge, and he immediately fights something, which probably kills it, which is probably good, because you didn't do anything for 7 turns. Or you probably did, but then you just played your Commander. And then Brimstone, add quad red. Okay. Surely there's something you can do with that quad red. He's like, I'm not going to say he's unplayable or anything, but I don't see any home for him. Did your cheer not play? It might not have. Hold on. Do I have alerts? I do have alerts on. Oh, that's why I didn't notice it. Thanks for the bits. I don't know why it didn't play. And I can't force it anymore because I don't use the old website. And I don't know the it to which you are referring, so I can't answer your question. You'd actually run Clive and Neheb, because you're always getting stuck with an empty hand and lots of devotion. Is that really? Yeah, I mean, you are in mono red, so you just have shit-ass options for card draw. Technically, he draws you cards, and the fact that he costs 6 is whatever, because you're actually stalled out, you've ran out of gas, and you're just trying to top deck back into the game at all. So maybe you do put him in Neheb or something like that. Another stifle target, yeah, sure. Grind them into dust, I suppose. Okay, the absolute status of Red's card draw is so pathetic that you might actually use Clive in a deck. I will rescind my previous judgment and rate him possibly playable. Traveling Chocobo, of which there's many different types. You can look at the top card of your library at any time. Play lands and bird spells from the top. And if a land or bird you control enters, it triggers twice. So Field of the Dead's kind of cool, but it doesn't have the you can play an extra land each turn addendum written on it anywhere. Unlike, say, Loot or the one for 4, the creature related that does that. Anyway, the fact that it doesn't let you play an extra land each turn means I don't run it. Playing lands off the top and getting double field triggers is cool though. But I do want exploration duct taped onto all my creatures, and they're starting to get a lot of competition in the 3 spot for that. So Eris. Sorry, Erith. Gainsborough. She been to the gym. 2/2 for 3, lifelink. When you gain life, she get big forever. And then when she dies, put X1 counters on each legendary creature you control, or X is the number of 1 counters on her. She goes in like a Sisay 5-color legend tribal, and there's probably some combo with her or whatever. But otherwise, okay. I mean, she's 4 legendary tribal, and she's supposed to die for all her friends. It mimics, it mimics the game. Spoilers. Another dumb question. So with some of these releases, they are literally paint over and call existing exact same text card Iron Man or whatever. He's playing the Iron Man, and whatever it actually is a dupe or no. Yeah, so some of these, and I'll try to scroll to one of them. All the ones that you're seeing right now are unique, brand new cards, right? But some of them, and maybe they're at the bottom. Yeah, here we go. So, like, look at this fucking loser. Okay, Zidane, right? Zidane Tribal. He is, notice how it says Ragavan, Nimble Pilfer underneath him. And he has the exact same text and everything as Ragavan. Now, if you're playing a Ragavan in your commander deck, you can't also play Zidane, because this is essentially... This is essentially just a cool version of Ragavan. It doesn't count as an extra card, right? It's a reskin, yeah. You went to the Riot online store and you bought a skin for your hero. And you chose the biggest loser main character probably in all of Final Fantasy. Dude, look at this fucking dude. Hold on. This shit is sick. Nyx Bloom Ancient version. And Yoshitaka Amano came out of retirement just to draw this. This is so sick. Oh, and they used a screenshot of the... they released this as like a spoiler when Final Fantasy XII was leading up to come out to trick everyone into thinking the game would be good. Damn, I remember that. I was super hyped for it. Final version of Sephiroth as Atraxa Grand Unifier, my lady. Nice. Nice-oo. Oh, a custom SRAM. Nice. I wish the background wasn't just white, is my complaint here. But fair enough. Ancient Copper Dragon. If you want Ancient Copper Dragon to be even more expensive, why not try the Dragon of Mount Gulag, the Mount Gulag version. And Yuffie art from the instruction manual for Yuriko, the Tiger's Shadow. Yeah, of course. Ninja Tri-Bowl. All right. I'm going to go straight to Vivi because it's a crowd favorite. Look at this man. Look at this boy. The singular interesting character in all of Final Fantasy IX right here. Costs 3 for a 0/3. Pays 0 at X mana in any combination of blue or red, where X is his power. Only once each turn. But doesn't say as a sorcery, so you can use it in response to something. Whenever you cast a non-creature spell, put a 1 counter on Vivi, and it deals 1 damage to each opponent. He does it all. This guy is great. He's unironically great. He's great in the same way that a whole bunch of other blue-red dudes for 2 and 3 are, for sure. But I think he's really good. He pumps himself. He kills everyone else. And he gives you mana. And he costs 3. And it's Vivi. And also his art's good. Like, hell yeah, brother. Big win. Big win for the Vivi Izzet fans out there. Oh yeah, the alternative artworks for all the different chocobos and the super rare golden one, of which there's only 77. Show you the clown. Okay. Behold the clown. Kafka. The court mage. Again, Yoshitaka Amano came out of retirement, even though he's 100, to draw these 2 pictures for us. He's a 4/5 Grixis for 5. Whenever he enters or attacks, each player discards a card, including you, but that's good. Then you draw a card for each card type among types. Among cards discarded this way. Awesome. Pay 8, each opponent sacrifices a permanent, and then you transform him into a flying 5/7. Whenever an opponent loses life during your turn, you draw that many cards. This is just meat and potatoes, classic, like 5 mana. Not too strong, but not too weak, just Grixis good stuff. And he looks insano. He's fun. This would be like a fun mid-power Grixis kind of thing going on. The Dark Carnival, whoop whoop, huh? Anime Juggalo, okay. Whomst else? Oh, ooh. No, don't show me that picture. Show me this picture. God damn. Balthier and Fran. 2 10 out of 10s. Well, maybe a 9 out of 10 and an 11 out of 10, but what do you get the average? And the card itself, a 4/3 reach for 3. Vehicles you control get 1/1 and have vigilance and reach, and then whenever a vehicle crewed by them deals damage, you can pay 3, get an additional combat phase. The card is terrible. Vehicles suck. Only green-red vehicles, even worse. But we stand Balthier and Fran in this house, and the art's great. 19 out of 20 if you're bought. You do add them up. That's how it works, yeah. Hey, if you grew up watching The Mummy and it awakened something in you, then this couple is a 19 out of 20. What else we got here? A new art version of Y'shtola. Dark Confidant that doesn't have flavor text. Get out of my face. Oh, okay, yeah. Man, so many different art treatments. Oh, there he is. That's a much better one than the other one. These ones are looking good, actually. I rather like them. And if you note in the background, It's nice how, okay, in previous sets they had the full color backgrounds, you know, and it looked a little weird. But these white lines do break it up just enough to keep visual interest for the background. And subtly, you'll see that it's the Roman numeral 7, because he's from 7. And the Roman numeral 8, because he's from 8, and so on and so forth. Nice. Attention to detail. You like to see it. What about Lady Unalesca? During your turn, Una and enchantment creatures you control have trample, lifelink, and ward 2. Sure. Beginning your end step, return up to 1 target enchantment card from your graveyard to the battlefield with a finality counter. Disgusting. Skipped. Ahem. Light-toning, army of 1. 3/2 for 3, first strike, trample, lifelink. Those are good abilities. I would have rather had vigilance instead of trample, but fine. Or maybe first strike. Whenever she deals combat damage to a player until your next turn, if a source would deal damage to that player or a permanent that player controls deals double instead. Very interesting, cool card. Interesting and cool card. Based on a character that was boring as fuck, but card's good. Card's cool. Alright, Clive version, Kafka, the Sephiroth, alright. Skull, look at him, whatever. Look at him. Well, if it isn't my favorite main character from the best 80s movie version of a Final Fantasy game. Squall Seed Mercenary. 3/4 for 4. Oh, light and darkness? You shouldn't have. The Griever. Oh, Rough Divide. Not even Renzo Kukin. Rough Divide. Whenever a creature you control attacks alone, of course. Oh, I walk a lonely road, okay. It gains double strike until end of turn. Sure. So he's kind of a... Interesting that he's a black-white version of Rafik. Kinda. Whenever Squall deals combat damage to a player, return target permanent card, mana value 3 or less from your graveyard to the battlefield. Very strong. Potentially quite strong effect. Noctis. 4/3 for 4. Lifelink, you may cast artifact spells for your graveyard by paying 3 life in addition. If you cast a spell this way, the artifact enters the finality counter. Disgusting. Skipped. Kuja. Genome Sork. 3/4 for 4. At the beginning of your end step, create a tapped 0/1 black wizard creature token with whenever you cast a non-creature spell, token deals 1. Then you control 4 more wizards, transform him. If a wizard you control would deal damage to a permanent... Okay, so he's actually kind of a hyper killer, as I would expect from Rakdos. Non-creature spell, end of your turn though. There's no way to really shit these out too much, especially since you're not in white for token doubling. Okay, Kuja's a weirdo, but that's fair enough. Proper Tifa, let's go. Fury and equipped creatures control have haste. 3/3 for 3. Whenever a non-token creature equipment you control enters, create a token that's a copy of that equipment, except it equips for 2 less, and then sack it at the beginning of the next upkeep. Interesting. So he makes temporary double equipments. Okay. There's like 3,000 cards you could add to a equipment deck featuring red. So here's yet another one. Why are there like 15 Sid altars? Because they did one version of Sid for every Final Fantasy he was ever in. It's like a funny thing they decided to do. They're like, look, Sid was in every Final Fantasy, so we're gonna put a version of him. We're just gonna make a whole bunch of them. And the card seems pretty bad, so it can be safely ignored. No big deal. Xenos Yay Galvus? Where's Gaius von Baltar? My first friend. When Xenos Yay Galvus enters, choose a creature an opponent controls till end of turn. Creatures other than him and the chosen creature get -2. And then when the chosen creature dies, you flip him into an 8/8 flying dragon. Ahem. As this creature transforms, choose an opponent. When the chosen player loses the game, you win the game. Awesome. Cool narrative, kind of mechanical story building too, right? You choose a friend, and you protect that friend, but then when that friend dies, the whole world shall come crashing down. And it's a cool way of being like a super aggro commander deck that actually does only have to kill one person and then you win. Like you call your shot like Babe Ruth and you're like, okay, if I kill this person, I win. I don't have to chew through another 80 life or whatever. Xenos is very interesting. You do have to jump through a million hoops to get there, but it's an interesting idea. I think he's cool. Then Jill, who? Bro, I'm sorry. I thought I knew everything about Final Fantasy. Did I? Oh, is this one from 16? I didn't play 16. It was the only one I didn't play because it looked so bad. When Jill enters, return up to one other target non-land permanent to its owner's hand. Okay, for 3, so she's the same cost as your typical bounce creatures, so you might as well put her in. And then sometimes she can turn into Shiva. Our creature can't be blocked this turn. Nice and aggressive. Tap all lands your opponent's control, and then flippy. Okay, yeah, she's fine. She's fine. If you're running like a 2/2 for 3, you know, what's it called? Like Mana War, you know, then you could just replace it with Jill and it's a strict upgrade. Arden the Usurper costs 8 for a 4/4. Demons you control have Menace, Lifelink, and Haste. Oh, Demon Tribal, okay. Beginning of combat, exile up to one target creature from a graveyard. If you exile the card this way, create a token, it's a copy of it, it's a demon. You do get to keep that, and it's from a graveyard, not yours. But he is crazy expensive. Demon Tribal sucks. Just play the 2 good demons in your Cabal Coffers deck instead. Sorry. Xenos is a card you wish would become an archetype in EDH, where you just set up to kill one person and then you win the game, makes combat strats more viable. I agree, yeah. Very interesting way to go about it. It's a shame that it's 5 and then you have to do something and do something else and then he flips and then you choose something else, but still, like, I like that idea. You know, actual aggro does need a bit of a bump instead of like you have to do 120 damage to win, right? We saw Aerith already. Cecil from Final Fantasy IV turns into the Paladin, of course. You know, 2/3 Death Touch for 1. Damn. Sarcomancy rolling over in its grave. Whenever Cecil deals damage, you lose that much life. Jackal Pup action. Inside. Oh, no, more like Carnophage action. Then if your life total is less than or equal to half, flip him, and he gets lifelink 4/4. When he attacks other attacking creatures, gain indestructible. Cool. This guy's just fun. Fun little flavor guy. And then it's the lesbians from Final Fantasy 13. Fang. Whenever one or more cards leave your graveyard, you draw a card and you lose 1 life. This ability triggers only once a turn. Okay. With melds. This is a meld, right? Melds with Vanille. What does she do? When she enters, mill 2 cards, then return a permanent from your graveyard to your hand. Okay, so if they're both out, it does the thing. It draws you a card. First main at the beginning of your first main phase. So you have to pass the turn with both of them. And then be allowed to untap still with both of them. And then pay 5. And then they turn into 7/6 melded beast avatar. Vigilance, menace, trample, reach, haste. When it dies, destroy target permanent and return target non-legendary permanent card from your graveyard to the battlefield. Interesting. It's weird that they don't have partner. I wish that they would have partner instead, but I guess you just play one of the two and put the other in the deck. Neat. Okay. Which is like a neat way of doing that, I guess. Lebanese question mark? Yeah, I feel like you probably play Vanille. A pretty bad Eternal Witness is probably better than a pretty bad, what's that, black-white, brand new white-black creature for like $60 that draws you a card when something leaves your graveyard, and it makes, it's like indestructible always. You can only attack when a graveyard has, or once you've exiled 8 things. Can't remember the guy's name. But anyway. Yeah, neither of them that good. And the thing they turn into, not that good either. All around weak. And not great. But that's a good representation of Final Fantasy 13 in its entirety, so I guess we're fine with it. Getting meta with it. You have access to both colors because you do actually look at the backside of the card. So Fang has the color identity of both green and black because her melded other half is also green. And she has color identity green and black because her melded half is black and green and also has the cost here. So that counts. For instance, you can't play that dagger that flips into the demon in a non-black deck, and it's the same principle. Titus we saw, he has cheer, that's funny. He gets to move counters around, that's good. Lady Unaleska, oh, it's from the cutscene where she's dancing in the cutscene. 1/5 for 4. Grand Summon. At 1 mana, then you can, your next creature spell enters with 2 additional 1/1 counters on it. Whenever another permanent you control is put into a graveyard from the battlefield, if it had 1 or more counters on it, then you put that number of 1/1 counters. Sorry, if it had 1 or more counters on it, that would be like sagas, fucking anything. Put that number of 1/1 counters on something else, so it doubles up with Ozolith. I'm sure there's a million infinites you can do with her. Yeah, I bet Yuna is some sort of like saga good stuff or infinite counter factory creator thing. I haven't figured out what she goes infinite with, but you gotta imagine it's something, so. Yeah. Oh, and they got the heterochromia there in each eye, as per the game. And my lady Y'shtola, Knight's Blessed. We saw her already, but once again, you love to see it. Which game are Terra and Celeste from? Final Fantasy 13. And we saw Graha, we saw Terra, we saw Celeste. And then the cool are we saw Ex-Soldier, who wasn't good. And then Tifa. I don't think I've seen this Tifa yet. Damn, we're seeing some proper Tifas. No censorship. 4/4 for 4. All right, she's a cube in Naya. Yeah, the Italian Senate approves. Bene Supremo. Melee. Whenever this creature attacks, it gets 1/1 until end of turn for each opponent you attacked this combat. So she's at least a 5/5. Whenever 1 or more creatures you control power 7 or greater, deal combat damage to a player. Untap all creatures you control as an additional combat. Okay, so you can double blast somebody. Terrible as a commander. Possibly could go in some commander deck, maybe. I don't know. It just, to me, every, like, I play it and then I do a big win in Naya is just like, why aren't you playing Jetmir? You know? Maybe it's like, hey, my whole playgroup hates tokens, and they would kill me if I play Jetmir. So I'm going to play something worse on purpose that's more thematic, and I like Tifa, and everyone plays at bracket 2 to 3 anyway. So just play Tifa and get 2 attack phases instead of fuck with tokens. Maybe that's why you would do it. Because you just want to play a hot broad. Yeah, instead of a fat Garfield demon cat with awful alternative artwork. Yeah, that looks like... Jetmir's alternative artwork looks like Rob Liefeld Captain America. Hold up. I just said a lot of shit. Jetmir. I'm going to show you all of the things I just... Okay, so if I IARC correctly. Yeah, so here is... Here's Jetmir, okay? This is the normal artwork, right? And here is the alternative artwork. Right? Rob Liefeld, Captain America. And here is... Rob Liefeld, Captain America. It's the same picture. And there you have it. Hey, all right. Thanks for being here for this build your own reaction image. Anyway, good comment. Where was I? Oh yeah, the dank crystal, technically from Final Fantasy 3? 2 or 3? 3 maybe, I think 3. Black spells you cast cost 1 less to cast. 4. I'm used to paying 2 colorless for that top ability, right? Like the medallions, you know. If a non-token creature an opponent controls would die, exile it, and you gain 2 life. It's a Leyline of the Void. Generically destroys any graveyard deck single-handedly. Very strong randomly, but also usually... I wouldn't even say usually useless. It's actually just good. It's just a good effect to have out. You're on Team Widecat. It's a powerful card. It's a great commander. You have a Naya Hazizan. Which Hazizan? The new one or the old one? I like both Hazizan Tamars. Alright. That runs Jetmir. You call it Lisan Al-Gaib. Yeah. Where's the anime version? Nissan Al-Gaib. 6, tap. Put target creature card exiled with it on the battlefield under your control. This is just a great, like... Yeah, okay. It's too expensive for what it does, I guess. But it's like generic... It's so generically, like, good that I could see playing it in your black something pure good stuff by accident. I win the game sometimes. Shit. Like, it's just like a sandwich warrior. The one that plays with desert lands and makes sand warriors. Well, they both make sand warriors. The old one makes sand warrior tokens on the turn after you play it, and so you're supposed to like sacrifice it so you don't lose them. And then the new one has like what? Something like you can play deserts from your graveyard, or you can play an extra desert a turn or something like that. Has to do with desert lands. Zodriak the Umbral Gawad. 5/5 for 5. Quintuple black. Phyrexian Obliterator BTFO, I guess. Indestructible. When he enters, each player sacrifices half the non-god creatures they control. And then whenever anyone sacrifices a creature, make him big. This guy is I think he's quite cool. He is missing exactly one keyword to put him over the top. And that's what frustrates me about Zodiark, the Umbral God. If he had Vigilance, if he had Lifelink, if he had Trample, if he had Reach, even if he had Reach, any single keyword of any importance on him, and he would probably make it all the way into a deck. But as it stands, just the most vanilla 5/5 0 keywords, happens to be big and indestructible. I don't know. Indestructible is not a real protection nowadays. Well, indestructible means you have to kill him on purpose. To me, that's the difference. Indestructible will keep him alive during normal play, but it won't protect you from any removal, really. But he just won't like randomly die because you have to block or whatever. That's really what indestructible does to me. Anyway, I like this guy, and even though he's not great, I still might play him. I still might put him in Garth, dude. I need more creatures that are half of a board wipe, and then he gets big, you can sack him to Gerard, right? That's what he's missing. You know, he put 10 1/1 counters on him and just sacrifice him to Gerard, right? Doesn't make his indestructible very useful, but I guess whatever. Anyway, he's kind of interesting, but I really wish he had Reach. Like either Reach or Vigilance, just anything. Why is it rounded down? Because if it was rounded up and you played Zodiark and you didn't have any other creatures, you would have to sacrifice him. And that'd be a non-bow. And I guess it's fine for cards to have non-bows, but that would be a weird one. Oh, let's go. Look at this. A Realm Reborn with awesome art. Dude, it's the fucking Grand Admiral, what's her name? Pirate Lady, fucking Rao Ban, the tiny lolly girl. Damn, I remember that. Is this card good? Other permanents you control have had one of any color for 6. No, it's bad. It's not good. That's too bad. Because a Realm Reborn, it would be cool if it was good. No, he's a non-god. Oh, yeah, it is non-god creatures. You're right. Then I don't have a good answer for you. I guess so people can keep their singular creature. Ahem. The Sin art is fun. Where's the Sin art? Oh, down here? Yeah. I mean, it's all right. I think the card is awful, but which is too bad because I was looking for some more good like black, green, blue stuff. But someone Primal Odin, dude. Look at this. Look at this dude. Jesus. 5/3 for 6. Destroy target creature an opponent controls. This creature gains whenever this creature deals combat damage to a player. The player loses the game. And draw 2. Each player loses 2. Waiter. I'll take 1. Bring it over. For 6, destroy target creature on enters the battlefield of a 5/3 that does awesome shit besides. Yeah. He's like Ravenous Chalupa, except huge. Ravenous Chalupa. I'll take 1. I'm putting him in. He's awesome. Love him. Great dude. Lightning's very interesting. Very interesting. Finally, we're getting red-white commanders that aren't just, here you go. Here's your 37th equipment commander. Have fun, kids. Like, something else. She's nice. If you got a tactical mind, you could make a mean red-white deck out of that. And white's allowed to draw cards now, so it might even be a good deck. Red still isn't, but what are you going to do? Is he the Final Fantasy version of the Skull Knight from Berserk? That's actually a pretty complicated character, so no. He's just a fucking badass auto-kill you dude. which I guess is part of the portfolio under which Skull Knight operates. But I guess there's more to it for him. He's a complicated man, Skull Knight. Summon Bahamut, crossing his arms, FF10 version, let's go. 9/9 flyer for 9. Destroys a non-land permanent when he enters, twice. Draw 2 cards, and then Mega Flare blows everyone up. If the game is long and everything's stalled out and you're playing Battlecruiser, all of your opponents lose 50 life or some shit. Summon Bahamut is awesome. And Mega Flare is just as strong as it should be. You love to see it. This shit's cool. Sin sucks. These lands suck. Shiva sucks. What about Fenrir? Search your library for a basic land, put it on the battlefield, tapped and shuffle for 3. Great. Yeah. Awesome. It could do almost nothing else and people would still play it in certain decks as like the 5th copy of a creature that does that. Whenever you next cast a creature spell this turn, that creature enters with an additional 1/1 counter. Fine. Draw a card if you control the creature with the greatest power or tied for the greatest power. Fine. Look, people are playing like 2/2s for 3 that just get a basic and do basically nothing else. So this technically does something else. It's just like the 5th or 6th copy of it, that's all. Summon Esper Valagarmanda. 3/3 for 4, exile an sorcery from each graveyard. Add red for each lore counter on it, so starting with 2. You may cast an instant sorcery exiled with it, and flying haste. Yeah, good. Just good card. Esper Valagarmanda. Just a good card. Bokachos. This dude goes right in, what's that? Zedru, I think it's called. He's like an alpaca or something. 1/2 for 1, target opponent gains control of another target permanent you control. So it's the, donate your opponent awful permanents that hurt you, kind of deck. He's wonderful for that. He's like exactly what they wanted. The price is right, costs 1, 2 to use it. You can keep using it. It draws you a card whenever you do. It's perfect for Zedru. They like, somebody on the design team plays Zedru, and they made this card on purpose for themselves. And then Jumbo Cactar that I hate. I hate this card. It's a 1/7 for 7. Whenever it attacks, it gets plus 9,999 until end of turn. Which is a Yu-Gi-Oh! Ass, huge fucking pointlessly big number that I'm annoyed by, aesthetically speaking. Like 20 is about as big as anything gets in Magic usually. Printed on a card, And putting all 9s here is, to me, gross. I don't like it. But, hey, alright, give it trample and kill someone, or sacrifice it to Gerard and kill someone. There's like a million ways you can kill everyone equal to the power of target creature, fling, whatever, Chandra's Ignition, blah, blah, blah. I find the Yu-Gi-Oh! Big number to be a little distasteful, but that's just me. I won't whine about it too long. Oh yeah, they made a Gilgamesh, who himself is fucking awesome, but this card, not great. 6/6 for 6. He's basically Godo Bandit Warlord, except he's the inside-out version of Godo Bandit Warlord. Godo goes infinite, Gilgamesh doesn't. Godo searches for a particular equipment. This guy flips over the top 6 and puts all of them out. And so he wants you to be playing way more equipment than you should ever run in any one deck for him to really get value off of the flip. Now he does sick things when you flip them, but yeah, I don't see it. Deck building wise, it like forces you to make a bad deck almost, in a certain respect. Ahem. They keep trying to make equipment spam decks work. Equipment spam decks it's a fine archetype. It's strong. You can potentially even have an equipment deck in bracket 4 and still kill people. Like, it's a good archetype. It's just, there's a limit to how many equipment you can put in a deck before it waters the deck down enough so that you can't really do anything else but keep top decking equipment when you don't have a creature out and you need a counterspell or whatever. Like, eventually it dilutes your deck. But hey, whatever. And there are a lot of options. They do keep printing equipment stuff, and they will forever, especially in red-white. Sometimes red-white-blue. Did I miss anyone? Kind of haphazardly clicking between all these. I did miss some people. Look at this dude. Not found, please. All right, well, you can read it here. Gladiola's Amicidia. Look at this dude. Standing in front of a green screen that they put the background to Final Fantasy 15 on. The big lake, okay? 6/6 for 6. The guns are out. When he enters, search your library for any land card, put it out tapped, then shuffle. Waiter, guy's cradle, please. Table 2. Whenever a land you control enters, another target creature you control gets 2/2, gains trample. So when he does that, something you already have out randomly gets big and has trample. That's just good. If you are already playing Ulvenwald Hydra, and as you're playing the game, you're just like, damn, if only I had 2 Ulvenwald Hydras. And the second Ulvenwald Hydra, it's okay if it's a little worse than Ulvenwald Hydra. Well, here you go. Have I ever said that? Yes. Am I putting him in Garth? Yes. I do want 2 Ulvenwald Hydras, even if the second one isn't nearly as good. That's fine. We're flickering him. It's all right. He's great. I'm putting him in. And he is fucking funny because he's stupid. You don't know if this is intentional, but the Emperor of Palmesia looks like David Bowie. It is very intentional. Add blue or red. Spend it only to cast non-creatures. Whenever you cast a non-creature spell, if at least 4 mana was spent to cast it, put a 1/1 counter on the Emperor. Then if it has 3 or more counters, transform him into the Lord Master of HeyWoah. Whenever a Lord Master of Hell attacks, it deals X damage to each opponent, where X is the number of non-creature, non-land cards in your graveyard, the number of spells you have played. And he only costs 2. This guy's coming out there quick, and he taps for mana. This guy's like a Ruby, or Rada Heir to Keld, in that he's like a 2 mana commander that technically taps for mana somehow and does something else. Isn't the point of Commander making bad decks that sort of synergize into a focused strong point like equipment? Sometimes. It depends on a lot of other factors. A lot of people make Commander decks in a lot of different ways. I would say that the original purpose of Commander was to use all those unbelievably expensive cards you could never get away with casting in 1v1. Cards that cost unfathomably high amounts of mana. Like 6. And finally be able to play that bargain bin of dollar mythic rares you had in your garage. Building around a theme is fine too, you know. Anyway, equipment's good. It could be a good deck. Shantoto Africa. 04 for 3. Whenever you cast a non-creature, gets XO, where X is the amount of mana spent to cast it. If X is 4 or more, draw a card. Hey, she looks a lot like Vivi. I think she's worse. But she does say draw a card. So that's always good. Yeah, Vivi seems very good to me. Ultimecia, the surprise, well, not surprise, the unsurprising end boss of Final Fantasy VIII. Time compression. 4/5 for 5. Whenever she enters or attacks Surveil 2, beginning your end step, you can pay 8 and exile 8 cards from your graveyard. If you do, you take an extra turn. And she's a 7/7 menace. She fucking sucks and is dumb, which is a perfect representation of her from Final Fantasy VIII. So good work there on the mechanics. I wish she'd compress me. Ooh. Zeldinkter, this fucking guy. His card makes me mad because it starts with you may play an additional land on each of your turns. And I'm like, I think red deserves to have that splash ability and not just green. This fixes red as a color almost. And then it's like, nah, return it to your hand. Never mind, it's trash. Oh, cool. Thanks. All right. Yeah, he sucks. What do you think of doing a presentation on Magic archetypes for newer folks? You know, there's a lot of content out there on this, but it seems like a bit spread out. Yeah, I could do that. It would be fun to compile. I could do much of it by memory, but I would also have to look all of it up because it's best not to trust your memory too much, right? But I could tell all sorts of purposefully like lame anecdotes and trivia about the history of some name of something, which a certain type of audience member would get a kick out of, while also kind of ironically enjoying it while knowing that it's lame. I don't know if I'm describing this correctly, right? But something like that. Yeah, that'd be fun. And then I'd talk about, you know, I was alive during this period and grinding Magic and stuff, so I could be like, yeah, that's Dark Confidant. It was named after Bob Maher. You know, and one day I was at Gen Con and I was watching the, I want to say, finals, but not the grand finals of the Vintage Championship, and he was playing his own card, Dark Confidant, and he flipped over a Force of Will and died to it and lost the tournament. And so Bob Maher, playing Bob Maher, was killed by his own card to lose a tournament. And so on and so forth, you know. You think Starting Town is going to find a home in every 3 color deck? Starting Town. Land. Is land enters tapped? No. There it is. There it is. Unless it's your first, second, or third turn of the game, all right? Now, there are more turns on average after turn 3 than on or before turn 3 for the average commander deck, right? So there is that. But no, I don't think so. I don't think so. If Starting Town is 25 cents, then maybe it'll be a nice budget option. I would put it in a budget deck, maybe. But even then, I don't know. That being said, I do play, in my 3-color decks, I do play those lands that say they enter tapped unless you control 2 or more other lands. And isn't that the same thing as Starting Town? No. Because you can do it on turn 3, and this is after turn 3. And those don't have you pay life when you're tapping them. Still, they're close. You know, they're close. But you have to understand that I'm like, I build commander decks that don't have budgets. Because I own a bunch of cards from 25 years ago in a shoebox, so my opinion on deck building is probably different than somebody who's like, I don't want to spend more than $50 on lands total, you know, or something like that. Anyway, these lands are cool because these are all famous places from the games. You love to see it. Well, okay. Some of them you don't love to see. They're pushing the car. Hey, all right. Any of these places beloved by me, though? A person who, in order of release, played Final Fantasy 1, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 10, 2, 11, 12, 13, 13, 13, 14, 14 Reborn, and finally 15. Before I finally stopped, and I saw 16, I saw it was basically not even an RPG at all anymore, and just like a action set-piece game, and I'm like, I can finally stop, it's over. I can finally no longer care about this series. Not the ones they show here, no. I would have appreciated some pixel art, full art lands of the older games, because I'm old. Tactics Erasure, it's not a mainline numbered, that's why I didn't mention it. Tactics was very good, but I did not like the gameplay, because I don't like the chessboard with little men walking around style of gameplay, so I didn't like the gameplay of Tactics. But I liked the story and characters a lot. It was a good one. It was a good Final Fantasy. I mean, I will play all the way through a 100-hour game that I don't like the gameplay for easily, if the story and the characters are good. That's what it means to be an RPG fan, you know? Is City Brass oppressively hard to acquire? I don't think so. I think it's been reprinted a few times. But I bet it's expensive. Even though it's been reprinted, I still think it's probably expensive. Same with whatever the... So City Brass is the damage one, and then there's the something of souls or whatever, that's the life loss one. And they're both kind of pricey. Not normally lands I would ever recommend unless you're playing CDH, really. There, okay. You only play the good variant, City of Ass. Uncard detected. Silver border. As a FF16 fan, you're curious what you think of Clive. Did you really go over that? Oh, here. Clive. He costs 6 and is a mono red commander. 5/5. Enters, draw cards equal to your devotion to red after discarding your card. And he flips into a dude who's fucking huge and fights something and then gives you mana forever. Now, as a commander, he would be terrible. Definitely do not recommend playing him as your commander. But if you're in mono red already, or a deck that doesn't have a lot of draw, I would toss him in, because CJ turned me on to this. Hey, in mono red, you got to find your ways to draw cards somehow. And the fact that usually it's discard something and then draw equal to that amount, but this is draw equal to your devotion to red. So you can have no cards in hand, but as long as you have a board, you still get to draw a decent amount of cards. So he's probably a decent inclusion in some other mono red deck. I just don't think I would have him in the command zone, really. But if you're making a bracket 2 mono red, I'm here for fun, and you're just supposed to dump your hand into devotion, and then Clive is basically a draw 7, I mean, you could make it work. Bracket 2 doesn't mean terrible, it just means unoptimal, but you can still have fun. Anyway, I shit on him originally, but I thought about him for 12 more seconds, and now I don't hate him so much. But he's very obviously, he's mono red. You don't really want to add any other colors to it. Because he's solving a problem that other colors would be solving for you. You think that red is a color thematically you should get monodorks? You don't think that's crazy to say? 7, 14, 15, 16, personally, with 16 being your favorite. It's not an RPG, but a good game is worth a change in combat. Yeah, I guess we just have to disagree. Well, actually, I don't disagree about it being a good game or a bad game. To me, that's beside the point. I just think, man, Final Fantasy really should be an RPG series, but maybe I'm clinging on to something old, you know? Well, there's no maybe about it. I just am. But also, maybe I'm wrong. Where's the Wizardry 4? Yeah, where's the Wizardry 4? Where's Ultima 6? Where's Wizardry Gold? Hey, they lost their roots, but they're pretty popular, right? So, for perhaps the real fantasy was the finals we 7, 8, and 9'd along the way. Good one. There's also a bunch of like non-commanders, obviously. I'm not going to be going over those too much because they're kind of whatever. Funny Dragonlance thing. They got job select, which is a cool thing. It makes heroes and gives them a job. Remember Final Fantasy V? You know, that was fun. 2 actually as well. Most of the cards are they're just like minor cards. Not everything has to be crazy OP, right? Crystal's Chosen is a funny little thing for Crystal Chronicles. Side quest, catch a fish, is not a funny little thing, and it should die. Anything else kind of noteworthy or interesting here? Communis Beavers is dumb. Oh, Malboro, classic. Of course, you have to include a Malboro. Each opponent discards a card, loses 2 life, and exiles the top 3 cards of your library. I was hoping that it would be more of a smallpox kind of effect. It's not punishing enough. Bad Breath is way more powerful than that. And it should be Swamp Cycling 1, but fine. Cool art, at least. Yeah, it would be funny if Malboro was red, right? Just for the meme. But oh yeah, Absolute Virtue for your Final Fantasy XI rememberers. It's an 8/8 for 8. Avatar Warrior. This spell can't be countered. Flying, you have protection from each of your opponents. And so just like in Final Fantasy XI, when you cast Absolute Virtue, if you're able to protect it, the game will take another 18 hours. Hey, good work. Funny. I think that's it. I think in the most haphazard way ever, we got through all of them, except every single Cid. But he fucking sucks, so it doesn't matter. I mean, I like some of the Cid characters in the games, it's just this card bad. Could make a funny deck out of it, though. Not everything has to be powerful. Oh, Hildebred Manderville. Speaking of funny cards, this guy's great. Love him. 2/2 for 2. Nice cur, right? Nice and cheap. He has an adventure version. Instant. Create a 2/2 black zombie. Creature tokens get 1/1. And then when he dies, you can cast him from the graveyard as an adventure, which means then the card goes to the adventure zone. You can recast Hildebred again. So he is a little black-white zombie creating engine where he dies and comes back to life over and over, just like in the game. And he's a good comic relief guy. I love him. He reminds me of the Green Knight. What's that one called? The black-green one that draws you a card and you can play him from the graveyard. Costs 2 and also 3. I can't remember what the card's name is, but it's basically supposed to be the Green Knight. It reminds me a lot of, yeah, Moss Knight, something like that. Mosswood Dread Knight, yeah, that's it. I like that guy too, he's fun. And Hildebred is like very similar to it in a good way. Great work here. Oh yeah, Secret Rendezvous. And it's got the different version for each of the dates you can go on. And it's even got the Barrett date. Let's go. And they just copy-pasted Cloud every time because he's such a fucking nerd. And just put his date with, and he's the same no matter what. Wonderful. Really like it. And you got the nice little personalities here. She's really happy about the fireworks. She's really happy about Cloud. Hey, look at all this stuff. Barrett trying to play it off cool. I know your real feelings. Flavor text is funny too. Yeah, and so the flavor text is specific to all the characters as well, which is a great touch. Do they have Cloud in a dress? I actually don't know. Not that I've seen so far. But, you know, here's hoping. We haven't seen every card, I don't think. It's just very most of them. Overall, this is a Magic disgusting sellout IP slop set that whoever made it clearly is a huge fan and really cared about making. And it's wonderful. And gross. And wonderful. And there will be more. And it will sell more than any other set ever, and it's not even close. Gangbusters on this shit. Double the sales of Lord of the Rings. Like, this'll put Wizards of the Coast into a new tax bracket. And they like doubled the price on everything. Doesn't matter. It just doesn't matter. The beautiful thing about attracting new customers is they don't know what your stuff costs yet. Anyway, good shit. It's awesome and gross. And the death of the game. And new lease on life for the game. And I don't support buying any of it because you have to send a message that it's not going to work. But that is a lie because it's going to work better than anything's ever worked before. So I'm going to buy 3. Individual cards, probably. Hey, all right. Life is complicated sometimes. This set is wonderful and beautiful, and you hate it and you wish it didn't exist. All of these things, and I'll buy 3 or 4 cards from it. And I will feel an amount of shame for doing so, which is the correct feeling to have. It's okay to have a little shame every once in a while, even if it doesn't stop you from doing something, although usually it should. Anyway, good shit. Thanks for watching News Show. Final Fantasy's looking great. Nighthaunt was okay. Cities of Sigmar, disappointing. But there was still plenty of good shit in there to at least think about. But yeah, kind of disappointing. What was Monday? What's going to be Monday? What's the next time? Anyone remember? What was next? Oh, it was Cruel Boys. It's the boys. Also some GHB rules themselves. Which is kind of exciting. It'll also be, is this the first Destruction Army? No, Gitz. Gitz got stuff. So it's not even the first NPC faction that's been gone over. Hey, I'm very interested in seeing what they do with Cruel Boys. Because they need some of that, like, get creative juice poured all over them, you know. And I wonder what the GHB is going to bring. Thanks for spending 2 hours and 21 minutes of the weekend with some news. I'll let you free. You're all free now. Anyway, see you guys Monday for more news, GHB stuff. And then since it's Monday, so I have to have a real stream, I might actually do something for the second half of it. Holy shit. Anyway, thanks for stopping by. Thanks for the subs and the bits and the primes. I release you out into the wild.